My name is Mark. I am part of the STEAM committee, but also I am part of the 3D Art Focus committee. So I don't know if many of the parents know this, but I'm sure that a lot of the fourth graders already took 3D Art Focus. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do pop-up art, and particularly pop-up on a card. Okay, so my inspiration was actually, I looked at some books that Kylie and Kate got, and Kylie, why don't you go ahead and show the books? And so why don't you show these two cameras here, yeah. So kind of do it this way here, closer. You can see that, and then also put the thing here. So why don't you open and close it? See that? How that pops up? Okay. And then so let's see here. So like, oh, this. Okay, so Facebook you see? Okay. And why don't you show another one, okay? So this one over now. Frozen pop-up book, okay, and let's go ahead and open the page up, okay. So see how that pops up, the whole thing. So what's cool is it's an ordinary book, kind of thick though, but when you actually open it up, it actually pops up. It's pretty cool, okay. So what I did was, okay, so I did this earlier because Kate, first graders had pen pals, and so instead of writing a letter, why don't you write a card, right? So, I did an example, okay, and so why don't you go ahead and focus on the table instead of me, okay, and so basically, I made a card, and what I did is I used craft paper, okay, and what I did was I measured out the size of like a birthday card. It's 5 by 7, okay. And what I did also was I cut a little cutout here, and I'll show you how to do this later. There's this cutout here, and what you could do is after you make the shape that you want, is you glue it on or tape it on to the side, and I'll kind of simulate how when it's glued on. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so if you were to glue this on like this, okay. If you close it, see how it collapses? But then when you open it, it comes up like that. You see that? And so this is copying, let me show you like how it looks like on the books here. Look, I find one that actually kind of simulates that. Yeah, this one here. This is one here. This is a little more complex than what you're gonna do. But you notice that, see how it goes flat, but then it pops up like that? See that? And so you notice that there's a V here, right? And these are cut to the bottom. Same thing here is there's a V here. You see that? And so what happens is when it closes, it collapses. When it opens, it pops up like that. Okay. Like that.
Mark, it looks like Jamie has a question. Can we pause for a question?
Yes, I can. What's the question?
Jamie, what's up?
Okay. First let me lower my hand. I just joined like a minute ago, and I don't know what materials we're supposed to have.
Okay, so Mr. Kyle emailed it out, but if your mom or dad could get, what we have paper, preferably thick like construction or drawing paper. You can use normal paper if you want though, but it's kind of flimsy, so I have kind of some thick paper. Okay, a ruler, either a glue stick or some tape, color pencils if you want to draw stuff, and a normal pencil here, and scissors somewhere here, or scissors here, and scissors, and a ruler. Okay, try you. Okay. So maybe if your mom and dad could get that, you're fine. Okay. So, if there are any questions, are there any questions about it? So this is the inspiration I got from the book, and how it works is, let me kind of move this aside, is that there's actually some mechanical work going on, okay? So what happens is that when you push down, let me kind of flip it the other way, is you see how the card pushes the paper? Actually, let me do this. Let me go and kind of tape it temporarily. You guys can see how that's like, okay? So, here, and here, okay. And this is going to be kind of like a V when you, and depending on how much you do a V, it will depend how much you want to make it pop up or This is how I taped it. Okay. So if you notice that when you push it in, the fold, it actually kind of collapses the paper. And see how it kind of gets tucked in? Okay. And now it can stay flat. See that? But then when you open it, it's gonna the card itself is gonna pull the small paper from flat to open. And see how that lifts up? So there's some physics or some mechanics behind this, okay? And see that? And when you go to flat, it pops up like that. So what I do is I'm going to do a combination of glue and tape to fix this. I'm going to push it down in the back, but that's how it's going to pop up. And depending on the angle of how we do it, like if you want to do like a large angle like this, it's going to pop up or forward more, like that, okay? Like that. But if you do it less of a V and more of a straight angle, it's going to pop backwards more. See that? So it depends on the angle. So you guys can play around with it the more you want to do this, of how much you want to pop it up, okay? So let's go and get started, okay? So I just said that that first you want to do make a card. Okay, so what I usually do when I make crafts like this, you need to do a roller and stuff like that, is there's a phrase in carpentry when you actually do woodwork. And the phrase, Mr. A probably knows this very well, is you measure twice and cut once. And the reason why you do this is because in carpentry, if you don't measure correctly and you measure too short and you cut it, you have to do it again. So when you measure twice, you ensure that you have the proper length, and then you cut it. So it just reinforces that you make sure that you did the right length before you did it. Okay, so what you want to do is, a card is typically 5 by 7, 5 inches by 7 inches, okay? See that? Okay? I don't know if you can read that. But it's 7 inches tall, 5 inches wide. But you notice that a card is on one side, it's two sides, right? So if you do your math, 5 goes to 10 inches wide and 7 inches tall. So, let me go ahead and give you the inches ruler. Okay. We have metric. We have a imperial ruler. So why don't you go ahead and you kids at home, you do the same thing. What you could do is, you don't have to do it perfectly. You could do any dimension you want. But if you want to use a normal birthday card full envelope, and you want to mill it out, you want to do a 5 by 7 card. You want to do 7 inches tall, 5 inches wide. Okay, or maybe a little smaller because it might be perfect. Okay, so 7 inches tall. So actually, does this fit 10 inches? It might be. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you can use the width here because it's less than 10. Okay, so 7 inches tall.
Kuba, what's your question, bud?
Do we need to make a card?
You don't have to. You can make anything you want, but you need a base that folds out. Okay. And then you need a smaller piece here that makes it go up and down. Okay, so just use your imagination. If you don't want to use a card, you can do anything else. Up to you. Okay. I just did it as a birthday card because it's a little easier. It's a common thing to do with these pop-up.
Leonardo, what's your question? Unmute yourself first and then ask.
Mine's a little, that's fine, mine's a little shorter. Any questions?
Leonardo, do you have a question? We can't hear you.
Yes.
What's up? You're muted again, bud.
I don't really get how you do it.
So right now we're just making the card, this normal card, and then after that we'll make the pop-up part. So what you want to do is, when you want to make a birthday card or any type of card, you just cut a square that's pretty wide and you fold it in half. You don't have to do the exact same dimensions if you don't want to. You can make something smaller or bigger if you want. It's up to you. But the purpose is to make a large square and then fold it in half to make a card. Okay. Does that make sense, Leonardo?
What's your question, Kyle?
The cameras are fine.
My question was, how small does the tiny card need to be?
Mark, did you hear that one about the size of the smaller card?
That we could judge later.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of very large. Maybe like 2/3 the size of the large card. And the thing is that you don't want to make it too large, because what happens if you make it too large, when it collapses, it's going to poke out of the card like that, right? So you want to make sure it's kind of small. So depending on your design, you want to pop up. Okay. So Connie's finished with hers. That's pretty good. Okay. So is everybody finished with the card? Making their card in the card?
Mark, before we move forward, Sasha has a question before we do the next step.
Sure.
Sasha, what's your question?
I don't really understand the size.
You don't have to do the exact same 5x7. You can do any size you want. Just as an example, if you want to mail it to a friend or to a teacher or to anybody else. But for now, you can do any size you want if you don't want to do the 5x7.
Does that answer your question, Sasha?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So let me know if everybody's finished with this, and I can go on to the next thing. So let me go ahead and I'm going to get some more paper. Actually,
Amy, what's your question, kiddo?
I came a little late at 1:12. I've done both of the cards part, but I'm not sure about the triangle.
Can you repeat that, please?
So I came a little late, and I'm not really. I made both of the cards, but I'm not really quite sure where to put the triangle or cut out the triangle.
Oh, you mean this part here?
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. When everybody's ready. Okay.
Okay.
We haven't done that step yet, kiddo.
Yeah. So the triangle part, I have to explain to you, all you kids, how to do this. Okay. Are you kids ready? Anybody still cutting the card, or can I continue on? Okay. So with the smaller piece, what you want to do is cut out a smaller piece of paper. Look at what Kylie's doing. Okay. So you want to do a half, okay, like that. Okay. We'll just put it in half now. Okay. And before we cut it, we're gonna draw a V. So go ahead and the V is gonna be kind of, see what I did was, if you can see this, is I have two little tabs here, okay? So you'll see a V here, like that. But you'll see two tabs at the bottom like that with a little cutout in the middle here, okay? So so why don't you take a roll here, guys, and do a V.
Bushi, what's your question, kiddo? Do you have a question?
What's the size of it?
You got just a little bit. We couldn't hear you.
What's the size of the V part?
Size of the V? It's let me go ahead and get a marker. You can see it. Hold on. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna mark the crease to see how to show you guys how it looks like. Oop. No, you want to put the V with a gap in the bottom, right? Okay. See, there's a tab here. Oh, actually, make another V above it. Draw a V. Okay. So this is a good way to actually see where I'm creasing, because what I'm doing is I'm just marking at the fold. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Can you see now how the V is? Can you see that? So let me do this. Let me go ahead and against this green background. Can you see that now? Like that? There it is. Can you see that? So let me go ahead and do a really quick draw at how it looks like, okay? So let me put in another piece of paper. Okay. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna cut out a piece for the small piece, okay? You kind of draw that with a little. Can you guys see that, or is it kind of dark or light?
little bit light, but when you hold it up like that, you can see.
Let me go ahead and do it with the ink. Okay. So it's gonna be a square piece here. Can you guys see that now? Right?
That's better.
Okay. This is gonna be kind of like what I cut here, right? Now you want to put a little gap from the bottom part where you cut and do a V, like that. Okay. Not too much, not too little. It will be straight, okay? And then after that, you're gonna make a tab. So you're gonna have like 2 lines here, okay, like that. So and then you want to cut out a notch like that, okay. So let me go and show you. Can you guys see that? So when you cut out the square, the bottom part. The top line of the V is the full part, and the bottom part's gonna cut. So let me go and cut this after. Oh no! So we'll just go and cut that. Okay. And I'll wait after Kylie cuts hers, and then I'll cut mine. Just kind of show you how it looks like. Okay. Now you want to cut it. Just cut it.
Laura, what's your question, kiddo? Wait, unmute first.
I just didn't hear how big the small square should be.
These tall squares?
Yeah, just that square itself. I didn't hear.
This is gonna be where you're gonna draw the pop-up art, and you'll see in a minute what.
No, but how big?
Well, it could be any size, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw something and you're gonna cut out what you drew. Okay. So like, let's say you want to do pop-up rainbow, right? So what's gonna happen is you're gonna cut this, but then eventually you're gonna draw in a rainbow like this, okay? Like that, right? So you're gonna cut this part here, and then you're gonna cut around here. Does that make sense? So let's go and explain to you. So I'm gonna cut out this square here.
Mark also said that it should fit inside of your bigger card.
Yes.
And you want it so that it's not too big that it comes out when you close your card.
Yes.
But there isn't an exact size that you need to do.
I mean, it's just trial and error, okay? So now I cut the square, okay, like that, okay? See that? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the bottom part of the V, okay? Like that. And I'm gonna cut this V, this notch in the bottom here. So here, I'm gonna cut this notch out here, okay? So here, like that. So it looks like this in the back, okay? So, and then so you want to fold. There's the bottom two sides of the V here. So right at the notch is where you're gonna start the fold this way, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold this like this and like this, okay? You want to do the same. You want to have it parallel to the bottom fold.
Hold it a little bit lower, Mark, so we can see better.
If you have any problems, maybe you can ask your mom or dad to help you out. And so since I draw this, I always do it the other side. Okay. So this is straight. Okay. And then so like let's say that so this part is after you cut this V out, is you could draw something on this part. Actually, let me go for this now first. You could draw something on this part that you want to pop up. So let's say that I want to do a rainbow, okay? So I drew a rainbow here, okay? Yeah, go ahead. I drew a rainbow here, and what I'm going to do is you do one of two things. You can either draw a rainbow and cut it, or you could cut it into the rainbow. So let me go ahead, and I got some markers here, and I will.
Aria, what's your question, kiddo?
This, 1 second. Okay, yeah. So this is all recording, right?
Yeah, I forgot to start recording it on my Sony. But the Facebook will actually be recording live, and that should, you should be able to see it on Facebook. Anything that's recorded live on Facebook will be recorded. Did that answer your question? I totally forgot to record my camera. That's fine. I could just grab it from Facebook. So what I'm doing is because I don't want to mess up my rainbow after pre-cut, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Okay. So let's say that you have this, and you have the orange, okay? And you can cut in the middle too if you want. So go ahead, kids, if you want, make a decoration of what you want to pop up. Rainbow, tree, balloons, you can make a car, anything you want, okay?
Remember that you're going to cut around your design, so
Yes.
the more detailed it is, the more difficult it'll be to cut.
Exactly. So rainbow's pretty easy because it's a half circle, okay? How do you want to draw something on that or not? Or not yet. Okay. And so see, I drew. And don't worry about the bottom part because that's going to be glued onto the paper. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to go ahead and cut around the rainbow. Okay. You guys don't have to do a rainbow. You can do whatever you want. I just chose to do a rainbow. Okay. See over that? Okay. And so we started with this V here, this here, and what I did was I made it to here. Okay. Just make sure you have the tabs on both sides, right? Because if you don't have it, you need both sides to go on the card. Okay. And then I get my card here. And this is where you can use your glue or your tape. Let me go into the tape just to to check it out. Okay. So if you guys want, while you guys are, you could pause on drawing, okay? And this is the example. I'm going to make something different after this, but what I did the first time I did this was I did a glue stick like this, because glue sticks dry really quickly. If you use like Elmer's glue, it takes a while to dry, but glue stick dries quickly. You glue on here, and then you post it on. So let me go and test it out to see exactly how this would fit. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and go on the green part so you guys can see a little better. Okay. So that's my card here. Okay. And the folds are still there on the tabs. Okay. And let me make sure that. Okay. So this is gonna go in the same V. Okay. So if you look at this, it's a V type thing. So you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it flat. You want to kind of a V so it keeps that shape. Okay, and it kind of pops up like that. Okay, like that. Tape it like that so the tape's there. And what happens is if you close it, it shuts. Look at this way. See that? Looks like everybody's drawing instead of looking, but yeah. You guys can kind of imagine how that works? Then I gotta go closer. So this is the back side. Where these are two tabs. Really close. Okay? And it closes and it opens. Okay, and I'll get you the front. See, that's the pop-up bar right there. Okay. So go ahead and when you guys are ready drawing your pop-up, and before you guys are ready to cut it out, let me know, and then we can all do it together, okay? So while you guys do that, I am going to draw something different on my sample here. Okay. So I am going to do the other side that hasn't been drawn on yet. Okay. So.
If you have any questions as you work, use the raise hand function, and we'll try to get those questions answered.
Yeah. I'm going to do a bunch of fireworks, okay? But I just got a bunch of fireworks here like that. Now I'm gonna go and cut this. You want to draw cutting or?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna cut out my fireworks right. Okay. Like that. Okay. Okay. And if you guys are finished with your cards already, what you can do is you guys and write out on your card, okay? And make sure that when you write the card that you don't block where you're gonna tape your pop-up, okay? So we're gonna message here like that. You guys don't have to copy me, but I was sure that Mr. Kyle's laughing.
I appreciate the message.
Okay. And then so if you guys are ready, or you guys can pause if you're not finished yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you guys can do it, okay? So I have a glue stick. You guys can use tape or glue or whatnot. I choose to use glue stick because like I said before that it actually dries quickly, okay? So I'm going to do that. Just kind of glue it on there like that, okay? And then what I do after I glue it is I tape it on to reinforce how it looks like, okay? So you want to make sure that this V here is this way, okay? So it faces like that, okay? And what you might want to do is kind of write a V where you're going to place it. So if I do this, I can do a V here like that, right? See that V? Maybe you can't see it. You can do it with that marker. Just like that V there. And it's going to be toward the top because what happens when you close it, the pop-up is going to come down like this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it like this, like a V like that, and you could change the depth of the V depending on how high or how tall or how low you want it, okay? So I'm just gonna let it dry there like that. The less of the V and the more straight it is, the higher it's gonna go. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And now I'm gonna use some tape to just set it there and so it dries. The tape dries. And if you just want to use just tape and no glue, what you could do is, like what I'm doing is, I'll show you in a bit, is I taped the tabs on the back here, like that, and then what you could do is you could tape, I'll show you, tape one here and one here, so it doesn't get loose, okay? So do one here, like here. And then do one here like that, okay? See that? Okay. So I taped, if you just want to tape the no glue, or you could reinforce it, you put the two tapes on either side of the V, tape it in the back of the tabs, like that, okay? And then now you see that it might not shut well, just kind of close it kind of hard. Okay. And then you could write something in the front, right? Okay, it's like, so for me, I'll do like something like. So I was, okay. You can do any design you want, front and back, okay? And then what's going to happen is when someone opens it up, oh, I think that, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. We can do that. See something pop like that? See that? Look at that. Okay. Okay, so this is mine that I did. Kylie's running hers still. Anybody is stuck on their card that needs help? I could help them out if you need it. Okay. Speak up. You could unmute yourself.
It would also be awesome if folks want to. They can share their pop-up card creations if you come to morning meeting tomorrow, or afternoon meeting with Ms. Park. You can share what you made today. I'm sure people would love to see the designs.
What you could do also is you could do multiple too, right? So let's go ahead and do like the rainbow and the fireworks. And see how that's okay. So if you want to do that, make sure that I would recommend doing the back one taller than the front one, otherwise it gets hidden. But let's go and do this, okay? So if I do this, so I'm putting rainbow behind the fireworks, okay? See, there's two. Okay. See that? So it depends what you want to do. Oh, that's takes a while. Make it a little better. See how there's two there now? And you can try different designs if you want. It's up to you. You can be creative. Okay. Seems like
Does anybody have?
Let me check the Zoom.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Because otherwise, you can keep working on your own.
Seems like very intent on doing their drawings.
Yeah, I think people are busy working.
Yeah.
All right, should we end the video there, or should we stay on and see if questions?
Yeah, how is this? Is anybody stuck on the card? And I'll help them out. You can zoom into what you're doing, and I could help you guys out. Anybody stuck? Any questions? Concerns? Hi, Oliver. I see you waving. No questions? Kylie's doing something even better because I think she's copying what's in the book. And so if you have any pop-up books, you could figure out different ways of doing stuff. Look, I'll kind of show you how complex I do this. So like what they did was, the theory behind it is basically when you have stuff folding, you could join different folds together to have them pop up even more. So like this one is like a box, like a table, and it has different stuff inside here. There's like different join points here. Right? And then you could also, you could have these little messages pop up here like doors. It's pretty cool too. Okay. This shark is pretty cool. And then this is pretty complex because it's actually like there's a cone that does a pop up right here on this shark here. And there's another one on this, let's see here. Is it this one? I guess this one here. What's this one? Oh, it's the else one. Was this one is pretty cool. So there is trees here, but there are two V's. I don't know if you can see that. Is it this way? So this one has two V's. I'll show you. So there's one V here, and there's one V behind. So let me kind of see. See those two V's? And what they did was they have two V's, and then they have stuff on top that's flat. And so when you build it up, it's a more of a 3D type thing, where you have two layers and you have like a shelf in there. So you get ideas from that. Or this one is a frozen one here. It's pretty cool too. This is even more complex. Was they have, this is two V's as well, where there's a V in the front here, and there's a V here, but then there's other parts here that makes it like a flat, like a table here. There's stuff here that comes out like this for Elsa, and then there's a pull thing here when you pull this, where it comes up like that. More complex. So if you could study the mechanics of how this works, you could get more complex stuff. I didn't bother to do this because it takes a lot of work and I have other stuff to do, like ideas. Yeah. Yes, some of these
awesome.
are really complex and pop-up books. It's pretty cool. But we're gonna start with the basics and just do just a one layer pop-up like that. Okay. Are there any questions? Wow, it seems like people are pretty intent on their pop-up art. Devin with his other...
Well, they're focused on doing their thing.
Yeah. So what Kai did was, this is pretty cool. So hers is a V that pops up. And then she has something that pops up like this. You guys see that? Let me change this here. Okay. And then so this pops up, but then what happens is this basket, you can pull up here, and this pulls up to fruit as well.
Pretty awesome.
And so what she did was basically she did a line here, she cut through, and then she puts a paper and then stoppers on both sides, like that. So when you pull it out, this thing stops it from pulling all the way out. Kind of like an H. There's an H here, and there's no on the other side. And you just kind of pull it out. And what you can do is to make it so it's kind of flat, is if you tape on something in the back to support it like this, right? Then it won't flop like that. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so,
thank you, Mark.
Yeah, so if there are no
I
questions, then
if
we
you
can
don't have any questions, we can let them know.
No questions? If there's any follow-up questions, what you could do is you could ask Mr. Kyle and he could refer it to me, or you could ask your parents to ask, and they could email the classroom mailing list, and then I could respond back as well.
There is one question. Kushi has a question. What's up, Kushi?
For the cutting, for the triangle part, after you cut the triangle, do we just cut diagonally?
Can you see your paper?
Like for the diagonal part, like that?
So, what do you mean? Can you hold it to the camera so I can see? Hold on.
The part on the bottom?
Yeah.
The flap?
Yeah, we could do so you see you got a hamster, okay? So we want to do, you can cut around the pig on the top part, but the tabs, you want to have at least a lot of space in the tabs to have a base, so when you pull it out, it actually comes. If the tabs are too close together, then it won't work as well.
Okay.
So we could do this, is for now, can you show your pig again? Okay, so you do is, you see how you have the nose and you have the back? Just cut straight up like this, and then around the top. So you cut from the top around it, but then on the sides, just cut straight down, and then glue it.
Okay.
Because the tabs are support for the pop-up. If the tabs are too narrow, it will kind of wobble. So like this one here, this tab here is kind of small here, so it's not stable. You have to make sure it glues really well. it's wider like this. So let me go into. So this rainbow is a lot wider. It's a lot more stable. So when you pull it out, it actually pops out. But this fireworks one is not as stable, so it's making kind of a lot of noise and stuff. Tapes popping out and stuff. So yeah, just kind of work with it and see what the best way to do it.
And now you guys know the basics and have the skill. You can start experimenting with it and trying new stuff out and seeing what works.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of new. I am in 3D Art Focus Committee, but we haven't done this. This is something new. So, so then, reason why I did, I said 5x7 is this size here. You could put this in an envelope, just a normal birthday envelope, and mail it to someone if you want. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing some of these designs, hopefully tomorrow in morning meeting or Mrs. Park's afternoon meeting. Thanks, Mark, for teaching us a new skill and showing us how to do something cool.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to okay.
Can everybody, before we leave, let's all say thank you to Mark.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful cacophony.